Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
But unfortunately, the law is the law. So if you say, I have 5 years experience, then it must be team. Because team supervised Itabewari even before we came. Right? Team supervised Lagos Ibadan. Team supervised Kaduna Abuja. So which Nigerian company has supervised any railway construction? So we are likely going to go back to where we may not qualify. When I say we, I mean we Nigerians. Because the problem with railway is that when the accident happens, that's why I say to Nigerians that if I were to be a lawmaker, I would be recommending manslaughter charge against those who deal with vandalization of the rail tracks. The reason is that it takes about 800 meters for a locomotive to stop. As it's running now, it's running with speed. The moment it wants to stop, the driver will apply brake here, and you take 800 meters to stop. So how will a driver know that you have removed, vandalized a track 800 meters away? He will not know until he gets to the track. So when he gets to the track, what happens? He applies brake, right? He needs 800 meters to stop. So once he gets to that track that has been vandalized, he will derail. Once he derails, what happens? Some people may die. And each coach takes 85, is it 85? Yeah. Yeah, 85 persons, each coach. Yeah, 85 persons. So what happens? You would have killed, and sometimes there are about 14, 20 coaches. So imagine how many persons that could die as a result of that derailment, just because one selfish Nigerian is trying to steal tracks to make money. I think, like other countries, I'm not saying they should be killed because it's poverty. But I'm saying they should be charged for manslaughter because people could die. Okay, but again, they will ask you, manslaughter means that somebody died. But if anybody dies, then they should be charged for manslaughter. If nobody dies, then they should be charged for stealing or something. That's my view. And I say that because when they were stealing the narrow gauge, the one from Port Harcourt, I wasn't too worried because I know that whether we like it or not, we'll replace it. That's the contract. But they moved from stealing narrow gauge, Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, to stealing narrow gauge, Lagos, Kano. Again, we are looking for possible companies that could, under PPP, take over that. And if they take it over, they will remove the old track and replace it with new ones. So I wasn't, but when they now move to Itabewari, which is now standard gauge, brand new tracks, then it becomes dangerous. Because a poor man from Warri who is going to Itabe by a 6 o'clock train would not know that his train will derail because somebody has already gone like to cut off the track. That is dangerous. And I think that the solution is exactly what the government is doing now about insecurity. You see, I have always said that if you enforce the law, Nigerians will obey. Now you're feeling a bit of security, are you not? You can drive around. You feel a bit secure, more than before. It's because government has shown, look, this joke has to stop. And the joke has to stop, is it not? That's what Nigerians like to hear. That's the way I govern River State. Brook no nonsense. Let the person know there is a law, and that as the governor, who has been elected as governor of River State, I will enforce the law. So if the law means to shoot my brother, I will shoot him. That's what the law says. Since you saw security agencies enforcing the law, everybody is now behaving himself. So the same way, if we enforce the law on vandalization of tracks, it will stop. And I've asked the MD of Railway, where is the Railway police? He said they're not enough. So I'm going to see the IG. Give us enough men and materials so that we can use them to police the tracks. Because having moved from narrow gauge to standard gauge, it becomes a national. I'm not saying the ones are not a national security issue, but narrow gauge, we hardly, maybe once a week or twice a week. But this one is a daily thing. Sometimes 3 to 4 trips, 5, 6 trips a day. And the poor guys who are enjoying air-conditioned, enjoying themselves, some of them will have slept off. Suddenly there's a derailment, which may lead to death. That I don't encourage. I have discussed Itabewari, which is people is running, people are picking passengers. Somebody made analysis in the press that to fly from Warri or Benin to Abuja is about 60,000 naira, right? To come by road is about 20, but to get to Abuja by train is 6,000 naira, which is cheaper. 2,500 from Warri to Itabe. There's a bus or taxi waiting for you. You join the taxi at 3,500. It brings you to Abuja. 2,500 plus 3,500. How much is that? 6,000. So anybody who says Buhari is not putting money in your pocket, ask him that question. That if you had paid 60,000 naira by flight, remove 6,000 from 60,000, how much is that? 54. You're a rich man. Buhari has given you 54,000 naira. He won't agree. Okay, if you're not those who are flying, you're those who use night bus or whatever. First, you're not encountering security problem because in our rail. But if you go by that night bus, nobody knows who can wait for you around Lokoja and collect your bag from you. Now, you're paying 20,000, right? So if you remove 6,000 from 20,000, Buhari has given you how much? 14,000 naira. You know what they call, it's not fighting poverty. It's if you put sand in his pocket and put money in your pocket. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to save you from those expenditures you make that government can bear on your behalf. I've discussed Port Harcourt Maiduguri. I say we're ready to go, but unfortunately, we have a due process problem with the issue of supervising engineers, and nobody can work until the supervising engineer signs off on your drawing. So it affects Kano Maradi. We are ready to go with Kano Maradi. In fact, yesterday they sent me photographs of people who are doing some survey work and doing some soil analysis and all that. But that's the much they can do. They can't do more than that until a supervising engineer comes and says, you can go. I approve these drawings. I approve this. So we're also stuck in Itabewari. We won't be stuck in Kaduna because the due process has been approved a long time for a team to supervise Kaduna. But we are stuck, Port Harcourt Maiduguri. We'll be stuck, Kano Maradi. So we need to really hurry. I don't know how we can hurry, but we need to really hurry to get the supervising engineers. That's rail. What else? Where are we? We've talked about Kano Maradi, we've talked about Kano Kaduna, we've talked about Lagos Ibadan. We've talked about Ibadan to Abuja, which is one I say we're waiting for funds from China. So we're negotiating the loan. But even if they approve the loan today, we can't proceed until we finish with the supervising engineers. So we finish with rail. Now, the problem with, that was my argument about coastal rail. I said, we don't necessarily have to go to Lagos. The reason why all other alignments are going to Lagos is because of the seaport. Now, out of the 6 seaports in Nigeria, 4 are found in the coastal area. So do you need Lagos? Because there's a Port Harcourt seaport, there's a Onne seaport, there's a Warri seaport, and there's a Calabar seaport. So you don't need to go to Lagos. So if we need to save money, for now, we don't need to do from Akure to Lagos. We can take Akure to Benin, Benin to Warri, Benin to Asaba, and then Warri to Bayelsa, that's Yenagoa to Port Harcourt. It was a very difficult decision for us, for me in particular, to go to Aba when the Port Harcourt Maiduguri is also going to Aba. But what I meant is Port Harcourt to Aba, Aba to Uyo to Calabar. That's the coastal rail. The Port Harcourt Maiduguri is the one that has about nearly 12 to 13 states. It starts with Port Harcourt, which is Rivers, Abia, Aba, Owerri, Imo, Umuahia is still Aba, Enugu, which is Enugu State. It goes to Oka, which is Anambra. It goes to Ebonyi, which is Abakaliki. Then it goes to Makurdi, which is Benue. It goes to Lafia, which is Nasarawa. It goes to Jos, which is Plateau. Then from Jos, it goes to Kafanchan to Kaduna, which is Kaduna State, right? Then it goes to Bauchi, which is Bauchi State. It goes to Gombe, which is Gombe. And then it goes to Damaturu, which is Yobe. And then goes to Maiduguri, which is about 12, 13 states. The rest, there's no other track. The Western line has about 7. This was about 12, between 12 and 13 states. So even the coastal states, the coastal rail, is only the 6 coastal states, and Akure, which is Ondo, so 7. So the longest in terms of taking in communities and states is the Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, but it doesn't carry the highest volume of tonnage of cargoes. That comes from Port Harcourt, Lagos to Kano. So the most viable rail is Lagos to Kano, followed by Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. We've not done a full study of Lagos to Calabar. We need to do that to be able to know maybe the volume of wet cargoes in terms of crude oil and petrol may inform the viability, economic viability of that. Now, in terms of the seaport, the president approved the construction of the Bonny Deep Seaport, but it will be funded as PPP. We're not putting one kobo. The Chinese company that is doing Port Harcourt to Maiduguri will have to empty. That's one good thing about Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. It doesn't actually start from Port Harcourt. It starts from Bonny. So with the seaport in Bonny, from Bonny it comes to Port Harcourt. Now, then from Port Harcourt, we've not made a decision whether it is Oyibo that we'll take off from, or we'll take off from Eledewan. Either way, it goes to Were. Then Port Harcourt then goes all that way. So the seaport around that area will be covered. The Lagos Calabar will terminate at Calabar Seaport, will tee off to Warri Seaport. Even the Itabe Warri will tee off to the new seaport we're building in Warri. So there's a new deep seaport that will have to be built in Warri when we do the central line. The central line is Warri up to Abuja, linking the western line. The western line is linked at 2 places. No, the western line is linked at Kafanchan with the eastern line. Now the coastal line is linked to the central line at Warri. Then the coastal line is also linked to the eastern line at Aba. So you see, what we've done is to connect Nigeria. You can wake up from here, from Port Harcourt, and say, look, I'm going to Sokoto. Now, if you enter the train in Port Harcourt, it will take you up to, okay, Sokoto is yet off. We're yet to connect Sokoto. Let's say Kaduna. So it takes you off from Port Harcourt, lands you at Kafanchan. Kafanchan, 2 things will happen. If it's a train that is meant to go to Kaduna, when it gets to Kafanchan, it will change its bogie from a narrow gauge bogie to a standard gauge bogie. You'll be in your train, you will know that they have moved from the normal distance to from your more narrow gauge bogie to a standard gauge bogie, because if you're running on a standard gauge track, then it takes you to Kaduna. What's the most important is that now Nigeria will be connected. You can go from anywhere. You can leave Calabar and arrive in Abuja by just coming from Calabar to Warri. You join the Itabe. Itabe is supposed to terminate at Abuja. The contract is awarded, but funding is an issue. So it takes you to Warri. Warri takes you, I hope, if we don't finish, the next government will finish it. It takes you from Itabe to Abuja. You can wake up from Abuja and say, I want to go to Lagos. Well, you can follow the Lagos line. It's just, well, I've told you how it is connected. Now, in terms of seaports, there are 3 basic seaports that this government intends to start. I don't know if we'll finish it. The one we are going to finish, whether they like it or not, is the Lekki Deep Seaport, right? And that will be the first seaport in Nigeria. I've had this argument with Fashola. He says Lagos, Apapa is the seaport. Apapa is not the seaport, Apapa is the river port. Tinker is the river port. It tees off the ocean. A seaport is a port found on the sea. But look at all our ports. They all tee off the ocean. The One Seaport, which is about the deepest, tees off from the Bonny. They call it Bonny River. Not even the ocean. It's at Bonny you get the ocean. That's why we're saying Bonny Deep Seaport. That's why we're saying we're having a problem with Warri, because to get a Warri Deep Seaport, which was what we approved, you have to reclaim close to 32 kilometers into the water. And that's huge amount of money. So that's the problem we're having. Another deep seaport that's coming on is the Akwa Ibom one, because it's just sitting right there in the water, not a river. So what the government has done is the president has approved the construction of Lekki Deep Seaport, and like I told you, we'll finish it 2022. Then he has also approved the Bonny Deep Seaport, which will commence as soon as we commence the construction of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line, because that's the agreement. The agreement is contractor, we pay you for Port Harcourt to Maiduguri construction, you fund the construction of the deep sea port, and you manage it for I don't know how many years, but Cabinet has approved the number of years that he will manage it. Then, Warri Deep Sea Port is the same thing that the agreement between us and the contractor who will do from Itape to Abuja, passing through Lokoja, Baro to Abuja. And then where we terminated currently at Warri, he takes it from there to the Warri Deep Sea Port if we can get up to the sea. Which other seaport? Well, the one for Akwa Ibom is with Akwa Ibom State Government. We just gave them a franchise or an approval to go ahead and construct. I think they have, from what we gave them, we have a company, I don't know whether it's a French company, that's in partnership with them. So these are I've named how many seaports? 4. I've named 4 seaports. My ministry, okay, there's a very little element of my ministry that most people don't know about. The land transportation, which is predominantly done by Ministry of Works because of the Highway Act. But we have the element that has to do with the ECOWAS protocols and all that. And then we supervise, we make some of the policies on land transportation. Like we said last time, that we will encourage that those who construct roads, whether state or federal government, should put this in for bicycle, those who use bicycle, so that Nigerians can live a healthy life. I think I'm done. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Putting money in your pocket, ask him that question. That is, Tony, you know, okay, no, this is a formal decision. I want to use this thing. I don't think it should bother you who will get the money from. As a Christian, the only person I won't take money from is Satan. Another person. But it's not also true that these are funds that Chinese have not given to us. No. The only loan we have negotiated with the Chinese government or China Exim Bank that is yet to come is Ibadan to Kano. Port Harcourt Maiduguri, right? Went to a Chinese company, but they were yet to we were yet to apply for a loan when we discovered that Europe has opened up and Europe is willing to allow us borrow from them. So we quickly went to Standard Chartered Bank, you're right? And that's $3.020 billion. And my position now is, whatever is in my budget, can I start funding? Oh, whatever I have, can I start funding from my budget? At any point in time, they get the loan, then it is, you will deduct what I have put in, so that Nigeria does not have to bear all the costs. I mean, from loan. So the interest, take for instance, the way I'm pursuing, and I'm doing like a native man, the way I'm pursuing Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, and Kano-Kaduna is, look, I think I paid about 13 billion naira for Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, and I'm about to pay another 10. If I get it to 50, haven't I paid, I'm using the black market rate, I don't know what they pay in CBN. If I pay up to 50, it's not $100 million. So it will now be 2.9. It will no longer be $3.020 billion. You get the point? And I continue to do that until we finish the construction. Take Kano-Kaduna. Kano-Kaduna is $1.2 billion. I have paid $280 million already, right? If I pay $280 million, how much is remaining? No, if it's 1.2 now, so what's remaining will be 900 and something million. If I pay another $100 million in the next few weeks, 800 and something million. So if I continue that way, by the end of this next year to early next year, I would have probably paid between $500 and $600 million. So what you may likely be borrowing will be about $500 or $600 or $700 million. That I'm doing to make sure that we don't leave too much debt behind. If we can have the money, discipline ourselves to spend what we have. So we're waiting for the Chinese for only Ibadan to Kano. We're borrowing, and that's a big question we need to ask ourselves. If the Chinese don't turn up in the next few months, why shouldn't we approach the European banks to fund Ibadan to Kano? And I will put that before Minister of Finance. The Standard Chartered has accepted to fund Lagos, we're negotiating with them, Lagos Calabar, were negotiating Port Harcourt, Meduguri. I think these are, and then, oh, they're not the people funding Kano Maradi. Kano Maradi is funded by Credit Suisse. Okay, so I've answered, that's the question you raised, and I've answered that we're just looking for money. We look for money from everybody, excluding Satan, because I'm a Christian. Vandals, and I'll give you this example, Gloria. When I was governor, I was so angry with Nigerians. You know how much it costs? Road construction of 10 billion naira. 4 billion is for the road. Do you know where 6 billion is going? What do you call that on the middle? Median. Do you know why Nigerians put median? So that Nigerians won't drive across. There is no reason for you to put a median. And if you put a median, you must put drainage, which costs, so you're paying for lawlessness. Catch the idiot and put him in jail and save Nigeria 6 billion naira. You get the point? So the reason now, and I find it, I get very angry because now we have to look for money to now begin to look for drones, to now to look for technology so that we can stop the criminal. Or first see him. When you see him, then you have to pay or get police to respond quickly. But if they don't respond quickly, the guy could have finished and gone. So we are not going to pay extra costs for enforcement of law and order. That's why up to now I've not made a decision on what do we do. The only one I've made a decision is those who are stealing the clips. Like Kaduna, Abuja. Over 15,000 clips have been stolen. And they must replace daily. So what people don't know is that before the train runs in the morning, people will take a walk from beginning of Kaduna to Abuja. We pay people from different villages. They have to take a walk to know where they have stolen clips. And we must replace so that you don't get a situation where the train can derail. And you're doing that because some people are stealing the listen. That's why some of these harsh laws you see is to curb some of these excesses. So what we are doing is, okay, we are fixing the clips, we are paying, every day we are paying for clips, we are buying clips, we are fixing it. And they're not made in Nigeria. If they were made in Nigeria, it's okay, it's growing the economy because we are going to the market to buy it. They are bought overseas. So you buy them in dollars. Now, that one, I'm thinking the solution. We found the solution to that. What's the solution? That's what they call anti-theft clips. But they are more expensive, 3 times more expensive than this one. And it's better than buying this. Well, this one will be like, is it, how old is it? Is it £1 foolish or what? Pennywise pound foolish. Because that's what's happening in Kaduna. You were looking for something cheap, and then at the end of the day, it's now more expensive than what we are trying to do, what we've approved they should do in Lagos Ibadan. They also bought these cheap clips, and I said, no, stop. Go and replace it. So they are replacing Lagos Ibadan. Lagos Ibadan will be anti-theft, and all other construction will be anti-theft. Anti-theft, you can't open it, you can't remove it, it will be permanently there. But we need to now go back to Abuja-Kaduna and change it to anti-theft clips. But I don't know, I have to ask. I'm not see, the minister is not, I like what people will do. When train breaks down, instead of calling an RC MD, they send it in to me. Continue to send it until it gets to the minister. The minister does not run an RC. there's an MD of an RC. I have to find out how much they spend, but it's quite expensive. And we really have to make a decision and pay for it now, for them to change to anti-theft clip in Kaduna, Abuja. I don't know why we have not made that decision, because we should have made it when we discovered that we've replaced over 10 to 15,000 clips for the 6 years we've stayed here. So for the Vandals, I think it's not just enough to put, we're negotiating with experts in technology for as our response, but it's not enough. I think the law should deal with those who break it. The law should not be quiet. And I don't know what the law says, but the Chinese company that was arrested for buying those tracks, they got away with 200-something thousand naira fine. I think the law should do much more than that. In fact, we caught a Chinese company in Jos buying from them. Then the next few months, we arrested a Chinese man with other people at Nasarawa, caught him directly. So that's the problem we have. That's the issue of vandals. The other issue is who discovered the soil, who will pay for it. That's the question from the AFP man. If they ask me again, what do you want to be after Minister for Transport? I would say Minister for Transport. The job is enjoyable in the sense that when you go, and I'll give an example. I say it's enjoyable. We go to Apapa, and that's why you respect engineers. And when we go to Apapa, if you see pipes, nobody knew who owns the pipe. Some were not, no identity, nothing. We don't even know the depth of the pipes. We don't know what. We went to an MPC. We didn't find a solution. We went to a solution. We had to get a company. It wasn't part of the contract. From Italy. You see why you must get professional engineers. Team, not us. Team, as I say, I enjoyed it. So I will sit like this as chairman of the meeting. You will see debate, China, CCCC, team. They were debating until they came to a conclusion. What was the conclusion? There's a particular type of equipment they have to bring from Italy. Team said, I'll get the equipment. The equipment will come here and identify all the pipes, no matter how deep it is. So that's the first thing we did. We identified all the pipes, all. So we went to an NPC. They said, if you touch these pipes, you shut down Nigeria. And we were to excavate them to build our track. And they said, no, you will shut down the country. And then we have a problem. If you build on the track, on the pipes, you burst the pipe. So we got another team from Italy that came with another technology that helped us to lay the track after civil works on top of, the civil work was on top of the pipes before we laid the tracks on it without any impact on the pipes, right? So when you do feasibility studies, it does not give you the minute details. It does not tell you, here, there was a refuse. You wouldn't know until you get to that point, right? Now, when we go to that point, both the Chinese company and the supervising engineers saw it, but felt it was 3 meters, so they covered. They removed 3 meters and covered. When they finished construction, they began to see depression at that spot. Then they did further investigation. It is the further investigation I told them, it is not just 3 meters, it's 10 meters. By then we had finished, we were rushing to commission, and then they confronted me with politician. We are finished as engineers, now this is political decision. If you hide this thing in the name of commissioning, you will pay for it in 2-3 years. You can slow down, don't commission, till January next year. I'm a politician, am I not? As a politician, the contract they have, most Nigerians don't remember that the contract awarded to CCCC was Abuja-Kaduna to, that's the contract. It's Buhari that came and said, no, what kind of contract is this? All our rail tracks must end at the seaport. So please, commission Abuja-Kaduna to Lagos. When we finish Abuja-Kaduna to Apapa, we'll commission Tuna, if that's what you want. But the truth is, so let's commission Abuja-Kaduna, which is the actual contract, and slow down, it's not commission, we won't commission Apapa to Abuja-Kaduna again, but business activities may not commence on Apapa to Abuja-Kaduna until we excavate 10 meters of that soil and replace it, and it won't take more than 2-3 months. Then we'll begin to carry cargoes from the seaport. That's why we said we will commission the NIMASA program inside the seaport, so that you will see that we got to the seaport. Not tomorrow now you say, no, there was nothing like that, they didn't get to the seaport. So we beg the president that they should come to Apapa Seaport and commission the NIMASA project, So that whole Nigerians will see that we didn't get to Abuja-Kaduna and we trekked to the seaport, or we used a car to the seaport. We used train. In fact, this Friday, I will use train to the seaport, so as you know we are running. But then I will make a decision that Friday to say, shut down this train and excavate that point close to the Papa station and remove the refuse. Because the refuse soil is not a good soil. I hope you know. It continues to depress if you put weight on it. And the weight you're going to carry is not just passenger weight. If it's passenger, we will say leave it. But you're going to carry cargo from there to Ibadan. That's the guy who asked who discovered it. Who will pay for it is part of the contract. We're not asking government for more money. It's going to be part of the contract. Local content policy. It's a very difficult one. In fact, I've had my fight with Nigerian engineers on it. The first time I was a bit radical in saying, look, if you're not qualified, you're not qualified. Then I later, in the course of my study of how most countries developed in railways, I discovered that they must bring in their own people. You don't bring in your own people, then you don't progress. Because at a time, you must ask the Chinese to go. You must ask the Italians to go. For me, what did I do? The first thing I did was to take about 300 Nigerians to China to go and study. And the argument the Nigerian engineers make to me is that there is no particular engineering called railway engineering. That it's either mechanical, civil, and the Chinese, I shouldn't mind them. That's what they call railway engineering. That the bridge you build for railway is not the same bridge you build for road. They agree that it's bridge, but it's not the same. The technology is not the same. And then, so we agreed to send 300 Nigerians to go and study in China. They are there, they are studying. When they come back, we introduce them, we'll just absorb them into NRC, we employ them. So they can make it work for us. I felt that's not enough. The Chinese would agree, and the Chinese paid for it. The Chinese would agree to be every day training our people. So we said okay to them, look, go to Nigeria, build for us a university. And they say, where would they get the money from? I said, just assume that I want to take bribe from you. Will you be honest that you won't give me up to $100 million bribe? They couldn't answer. And I said, okay, so just assume that I want bribe. Take that bribe and build a university for us. And so they are building a university at Daura for $50 million. Right? At the time they are building it, 18 billion naira. Now $50 million must be about 25, right? I'm a village man. I'm calculating based on black market. I don't know what they do in CBN. So they are building a university. Now, let me tell you the agreement. I did that. I'm sure the Chinese were celebrating when we finished our first term. They believe I won't come back as minister. You can ask them. When I came back, because they moved out of sight in Lagos, Ibadan. They moved out of sight. Once they announced me as minister, without even assigning portfolio, they rushed back to sight. Now, Lagos, the university at Maiduguri, the agreement I reached with them in writing. You will teach us, you will hire teachers, English-speaking Chinese. You will manage this university for 5 years and teach us for 5 years, after which you exit, we will take over. Ministry of Transport will take over, not Ministry of Education. Because we will spend the money to run the university. We don't want to be part of these Nigerian university things when you get they don't have money, they don't have chemicals. No, this university is a specialized university. The idea is let us train, because what I saw in South Africa is that they are producing their own locomotives. And, okay, they are producing their own coaches, certain. They are producing their own locomotive, but they buy a lot of other spare parts from other parts of the world, including France. Now, I asked China how they got their technology, railway technology, and they told me clearly. They brought in, what do you call this company? A railway company in America, and gave them contract with Ford, even car, and said, produce 15% in Nigeria, in America. 85% must be produced in China. And they began to understudy them. That's why if you see the contracts we did in the wagons we are buying, we said produce 15% in China, assemble 85% in Nigeria. So they are building a factory at Kajola. I'm discussing local content, I will get to the one you're asking. So now, if they are building a factory in Kajola, and we sign an agreement that we'll be buying from them, I said, well, you don't have a problem. Why do I have to spend dollars when I can buy in Naira in Nigeria? then you can change. It's up to you to change your money and send to your country. But here, I will buy in Naira. So they're building a factory, and I hope that by December we should be able to commission that factory. And I've told them they have to hurry, because they've supplied us 15% of the wagons. They need to supply us 85. And that 85 will be assembled in Nigeria, in Kaduna. I hope that whoever takes over from me as Minister for Transport will know that another component of that agreement, the component that after 5 years, you will now begin to manufacture here, no longer assembling. You get the point? All that is to localize the railway technology. So there's a university in Daura to teach our children. There is Kajola. Again, don't forget, it's not part of the contract too. It's also, I've also forced them to invest their own money, because to do Lagos-Ibadan, $2 billion, nearly 1 trillion naira in your pocket, and you don't want to spend something here, you're wasting your time, man. So they agreed, they're building the factory for assembling of wagons. They've also agreed in writing that after 5 years, they will start, instead of assembling, they will start producing. Then they will graduate from there to building a factory to produce locomotives and coaches and spare parts. Let me tell you, they think we are finished. We have not finished. I'll sit them down, because we have not negotiated for Lagos, Calabar. If they think they will just take that money and go, they're wasting their time. We will see. They don't tell us what they will. I'm not taking what they contribute from that money they will get for Lagos to Calabar. I'm thinking that shouldn't we build another factory for locomotives and coaches somewhere in the south, because they insist that it must be close to water, to the ocean. So either come to Port Harcourt, or go to Calabar, or go to Akwa Ibom, or go to Delta. Because if we say I must go to where there's ocean in Delta, there's ocean in even Bayelsa, there's ocean in Port Harcourt, there's ocean in Calabar and Akwa Ibom. But I've not sat down with them. I need to sit down with them to negotiate that. I'm also thinking that we need to take, because for me, this crime you're seeing, security, is not, nobody was born to be a thief or an armed robber or a kidnapper. It's hunger. The more jobs we create, the more persons you bring out of the insecurity market. So I'm looking at what we can send to between Zaria and Kano from them as their own contribution. I'm just looking at that, and trust me, I will sit down with them to achieve that before the end of the year. Then I think that's the final question, was it? That's the final question. But the one you're talking about, it will be difficult to just bring in the Nigerian engineers to supervise railway. The reason why it will be difficult is that if it is poorly supervised and there's an accident, don't call Amaechi. You know, I told President one thing. I told President about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I said, Mr. President, you know, nobody remembers who is the Minister for Transport under Babangida. How many of you remember? Everybody's quiet. How many people remember Minister for Transport under Abacha? It's difficult. But if they ask you now, I said to Mr. President, nobody will remember me. All these noise you're hearing, nobody will remember me. Buhari built what? Railway. So if there's an accident, nobody will call me. See this Buhari, cheap railways. Very cheap. Nobody will call me. Well, if I like, I can jump to Kano by air, by swim to Kano, do anything I like. It is Buhari. see the poor railway Buhari built. It has spoiled. And like now, they are praising him. I hope you know that. Oh, Lagos-Ibadan. I told him, I thought, God, this praise, if one mistake happens, the way these people will turn around, they will be shocked. so let's enjoy it with a bit of this thing. So for me, I don't mind bringing Nigerians. I swear, I need Nigerians to know how to, not just the knowledge, the money we're spending should also be localized. I need it. I'm not joking. So what have we done? We've asked them to identify some local content in the contract, which they will award to Nigerians. But man, I doubt that if Nigerians are not experienced in supervising, I will not give because of lives. That I will not give. But we have asked, under the directive of the president, he has given me a written approval that they should show us the local content and award it to Nigerian subcontractors. I've answered the 4 questions.
Another 4. The last set 4.